some tough positions now. Now Hackett trying to lift the chin. She's underneath.
Got it tight. There's the tap.
Chelsea Hackett, submission win in her PFL debut.
And that may be a factor in this fight. Can Chelsea Hackett get inside, and can Ditcheva keep her out on the end of those long-range punches?
Chelsea Hackett stepped forward with a bold message for Dakota Ditcheva. She was confident. She was loud. She believed she had every advantage going into this fight. But once that cage door closed, everything she said meant nothing.
Oh, knees are brutal.
Oh, nasty combination.
Really,
and the body work, the back
Dakota Ditcheva in a quick.
This is the full story. Before the fight, Chelsea Hackett didn't hold back. She sent a massive message to Dakota Ditcheva, saying straight to the cameras, "Yeah, look, it's just another fight for me, to be honest. If anything, I'm more excited, more hungry to get the win. Props to her. She's undefeated. She's stopped 90% of her opponents. People can say what they want, but she's backed it up until now."
Yeah, look, it's just another fight for me, to be honest. If anything, I'm more excited, more hungry to get the win. But yeah, you know, like, props to her. She's undefeated. She's stopped 90% of her opponents. So you know, people can say what they want, but she's backed it up until now.
And if that wasn't enough, she kept going. "I don't know much about her. Can't really find her on social media, but I'm certain she'll bring power, speed. I'm fitter. I'm stronger. I'm faster. I've had more experience. A fighter is a fighter, and I'm a fighter."
Don't know much about her. Can't really find her on social media, so, but I'm certain that she'll bring power, speed. She's from the Philippines, so she'll have a tough head. But yeah, I'm fitter, I'm stronger, I'm faster. I've had more experience. A fighter's a fighter, so I'm a fighter.
Read that again. Fitter, stronger, faster, more experience. Hackett was not whispering these words. She was declaring them. She was putting the entire MMA world on notice that Dakota Ditcheva was simply just another name on her list. Another fight. Another day at the office. Now here is where it gets really interesting, because Dakota Ditcheva heard every single word, and when it was her turn to speak, she didn't raise her voice. She didn't get emotional. She didn't throw insults back. She simply said, "If PFL aren't looking, then I'll probably say I hate it. But it comes with the job. This is how I'm going to build my brand and become a superstar, along with the fighting, which is most important. You've just got to go with the flow."
If PFL aren't looking, then I'll probably say I hate it. But it comes with the job, you know. This is how I'm gonna, you know, build my brand and become a superstar, I suppose, along with the fighting as well, which is most important. But yeah, I kind of just gotta go with the flow.
After the fight, with her hand raised and the crowd roaring, Dakota stood tall and delivered her final message to the division with complete calmness. Not many people call out higher-level people. Fair play to her for getting in and being a game fighter. But I'm not really surprised by the performance, to be honest. I always take every opponent seriously. Some people underestimate me, I don't know why. But yeah, I'm happy with it anyway.
Not many people call out, you know, high-level people, and I'd like to say that I'm a high-level fighter, so fair play to her for getting in and being a game fighter. But yeah, I'm not really surprised by the performance, to be honest. I feel like I always take every opponent serious, and some people I think underestimate me. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm happy with it anyway.
Not arrogant, not dismissive, just honest. That right there tells you everything you need to know about Dakota Ditcheva as a person and as a fighter. No panic, no anger, no desperation. Just a quiet, ice-cold confidence from someone who already knew exactly how this story was going to end. While Hackett was busy making noise, Dakota was busy preparing. And that difference, that mental difference, would show itself the moment the first bell rang. Two fighters, two completely different energies, one outcome. The fight was set for June 13th, 2024, PFL 4, Uncasville, Connecticut. The buzz around this matchup was real. Chelsea Hackett was no pushover. She came in with genuine credentials, genuine confidence, and a genuine belief that she could do what others hadn't managed to do. Hand Dakota Ditcheva her first defeat. The combat sports world was watching. Could Hackett back up all that talk? Could her experience and physicality be the kryptonite that Dakota hadn't yet faced?
Chelsea, you ready? Dakota, you ready? Fight!
Those questions were about to be answered in the most brutal and definitive way possible. From the very first bell, Dakota Ditcheva was in complete control. No hesitation, no feeling out period, no nerves. Sharp low kicks landed immediately, getting Hackett's attention right away. Dakota moved with the kind of calm, calculated aggression that makes her so incredibly difficult to prepare for. She wasn't rushing. She wasn't wild. She was precise, patient, and absolutely dangerous. Then it happened. Within the opening minutes, Dakota exploded forward with a blistering fast combination and finished it with a perfectly placed straight right hand that sent Hackett crashing to the canvas. Just like that, the fighter who said she was fitter, stronger, and faster was on the floor. Hackett showed real toughness here. Credit where it's due. She scrambled back up, grabbed the clinch, pressed Dakota against the fence, and tried desperately to slow the pace down. She wanted to drag the fight into deep water. She wanted to change the momentum and make it ugly.
Misdirection! That's right, Johnson! Good go!
That's nice, well done.
Good go! Come on, Hackett. You're going to take that outside.
But Dakota Ditcheva is not a fighter who panics. Not even slightly. She stayed completely composed, worked her way off the fence with strong defensive awareness, kept her balance, and the second she was free, she went straight back on the attack. What followed was devastating. Brutal knees hammering into Hackett's body, one after another, each one draining more energy than the last. Sharp punches following up to the head. Relentless, suffocating pressure with absolutely nowhere to go. Hackett was pinned against the fence, absorbing unanswered strike after unanswered strike, with no way to escape and no way to recover. The referee had seen more than enough. TKO. Dakota Ditcheva wins. Dominant, emphatic, ice cold. And then Dakota went straight to Twitter and sent a message that the entire women's MMA world felt. She let every fighter on the roster know this performance was not a one-off. This is not luck. This is not a phase. This is exactly who Dakota Ditcheva is. Every single time she steps into that cage, the message to the division was loud, clear, and impossible to ignore. Come prepared, come humble, or don't come at all. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. Dakota Ditcheva is still incredibly young. She is still growing as a fighter. She is still adding layers to her game with every single camp and every single bout. And yet she is already doing things inside that cage that seasoned veterans struggle to do. The speed is elite. The power is real. The finishing ability is frightening. But what separates Dakota from so many other talented fighters at her level is something that cannot be coached and cannot be faked. It is her composure. In a sport where emotions run high, where the pressure of a big fight can expose even the most gifted athletes, Dakota Ditcheva looks like she is having a conversation. She is calm when others panic. She is sharp when others fade. She is relentless when others hesitate. Chelsea Hackett came in with all the confidence in the world. She had prepared. She had spoken. She had made her claims. But none of that mattered once the cage door closed. Because Dakota Ditcheva doesn't just beat opponents. She dismantles them, piece by piece, round by round, strike by strike. And the rest of the women's MMA division is watching very, very closely. So there you have it. The full story of one of the most satisfying performances in Dakota Ditcheva's young but already remarkable career. Chelsea Hackett sent the bombshell before the fight. She was loud, she was confident, and she meant every word. But Dakota Ditcheva answered, not with a press conference, not with a social media post, not with a heated response. She answered with her fists, inside the cage, in front of the whole world. And that is exactly why Dakota Ditcheva is one of the most exciting names in combat sports right now. Every fight she takes, she makes a statement. Every opponent who underestimates her walks away with a painful lesson they will never forget.
50.5 kilograms, she fights out of the Inferno Muay Thai gym in Glasgow. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and go absolutely wild for Amy Pirnie!
Lisa Ramon.
Amy Pirnie stepped into the fight with relentless intensity and zero hesitation, taking on the undefeated Dakota Ditcheva with complete confidence. From the opening moments, she dominated the pace, delivering sharper, heavier attacks and refusing to back down. This wasn't just another fight, it was a statement. Dakota may have come in unbeaten, but Amy proved that records don't define greatness. By the end of the battle, she showed the world that she had what it takes to challenge the best, defeat the unbeaten, and claim her place as the superior fighter.
Unproven.
You see early doors when they're both putting the metal down, but you can see early that there might be a little bit of a struggle for range here for Pirnie.
Big knee from Pirnie, another big knee, good sweep from Pirnie.
Let's talk about what was at stake here. Dakota Ditcheva walked into this fight undefeated, untouched, carrying the kind of aura that makes opponents nervous before they even lace up their gloves. She had championship pedigree, elite Muay Thai skills, devastating power, and the cold confidence of someone who had simply never been pushed to her limit.
Reverse elbow technique, tried from Dakota. Spins again. She's going to run out of steam here, Gav. Dakota bouncing out of range. Again takes her down.
Amy Pirnie, she was the challenger, the underdog, the fighter that many people respected but very few genuinely believed could pull off the upset. And yet, here's what Amy said in the lead-up to this fight. Yeah, everybody comes for the championship, don't they? So it would be awesome to actually get to that stage. But I'm just happy to fight whoever's put in front of me.
Yeah, everybody comes for the championship, don't they? So it would be awesome to actually get to that stage. But I'm just happy to fight whoever's put in front of me.
Simple words, calm words. But looking back now, those words carried everything. That was not the voice of someone who was intimidated. That was the voice of a woman who already believed she was going to win.
Versus Pirnie. Big scores, knees. Pirnie, that was a nice knee back from Ditcheva. Extra strength, isn't he, with Pirnie?
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it in there, especially.
From the very first bell, something was different. Amy Pirnie did not come to survive. She came to dominate. She applied pressure from round one. Relentless, calculated, suffocating pressure. Every time Dakota tried to establish her rhythm, Amy was right there, cutting off angles, landing clean shots, and refusing to give her a single moment of comfort. This was not the Amy Pirnie that people expected. This was a woman on a mission.
Keep her on the end of them long limbs.
Big scoring knees.
Her strikes were sharper. Her movement was tighter, and mentally, she was locked in at a level we have rarely seen from a challenger stepping into a fight of this magnitude. She recorded an astonishing 4.4 strikes per minute, a number that tells you everything about the pace and intensity she brought to that cage. Dakota, to her credit, is a warrior. She never stopped fighting, but for the first time in her career, she was the one being outworked. She was the one being pushed backward. And that, for someone with an undefeated record, is a completely new and uncomfortable feeling.
See, it's making Pirnie come forward.
Again, she bustles Pirnie.
And then it happened. The moment that has been replayed thousands of times across social media. The moment that made the entire arena erupt. Amy Pirnie finished it. Clean, decisive, undeniable. The referee stepped in, the crowd exploded, and Amy Pirnie stood in the center of that cage, having just done what so many said was impossible. She had just defeated Dakota Ditcheva, the unbeaten, the unstoppable, the fighter that everyone was too afraid to pick against.
Beautiful sweep.
Good body kick.
Fast scores. Nice body kicks going in from both girls.
Amy Pirnie picked against her, and Amy Pirnie was right. This was not a lucky finish. This was not a fluke. This was a masterclass in preparation, belief, and execution. Amy came in with a game plan, and she executed it to absolute perfection.
Big round for both girls this now. Very good.
Now here's where things get even more interesting, because Dakota Ditcheva, even in defeat, showed exactly the kind of champion mentality that has always set her apart. Following the fight, Dakota took to Twitter and sent a message that the entire combat sports world is now talking about.
We saw these two in the morning. Nice body kick from Pirnie. Nice team. Shouldn't be attacking with it though, Gav.
No.
Like that one.
There you go.
This is where...
And while the full tweet speaks for itself, the message was clear. Dakota acknowledged the performance, respected the moment, and made it known that this chapter is not over. That is the mark of a true competitor. Not making excuses, not disappearing, but standing tall, facing the result, and already looking forward to what comes next. That tweet alone reminded everyone why Dakota Ditcheva remains one of the most compelling figures in this sport. Even in her first defeat, she carried herself like a champion.
Ditcheva really going for her here now.
Yep.
Really trying to put the seal on this.
For Dakota Ditcheva, this is a crossroads moment. Every great champion faces adversity at some point. The ones who become legends are the ones who respond to it. Dakota has all the tools, the power, the technique, the mental strength to come back from this stronger than ever. The question now is not whether she can bounce back. The question is how dominant that comeback will look. And beyond these two individual fighters, what this fight did for women's combat sports cannot be understated. The Muay Thai and MMA communities worldwide were already buzzing about this matchup, and the result delivered something even more powerful than the hype. It delivered a story about an underdog who believed when nobody else did, a story about an unbeaten fighter facing her first real test, a story about two warriors leaving absolutely everything inside that cage and creating a moment that will be talked about for years. This is why we watch combat sports, not just for the technique, not just for the highlights, but for moments like this, where real human drama, real courage, and real competition collide in the most spectacular way possible. That's the full breakdown of Amy Pirnie versus Dakota Ditcheva, one of the most memorable fights we have seen in recent memory. Amy delivered a statement performance. Ditcheva showed us who she truly is, even in defeat, and together these two warriors gave the entire world a fight worth remembering. The messages have been sent, the records have been updated, and the women's division will never look quite the same again. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you want to see both of these fighters face next? And subscribe so you never miss a breakdown like this one. Until next time, stay tuned, because in combat sports, the next chapter is always just around the corner.
When is Dakota Ditcheva going to the UFC?
I think people now, with me beating Tyler Santos, they want to see like what else I'm capable of, so it's got to be something more.
Women want to be equal. And believe me when I tell you, women have proved here that they are equal. They have absolutely proven themselves, and people love the women's fights. These women become big stars.
You could be the face of women's MMA. You're on that path. It's there.
Just scare me a little bit, you know, that people are putting all this this faith in me. Although I know I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to be the face of female MMA. I know that's one of my goals, you know, to inspire and things like that. And I want to be the best, but can be daunting at times.
Dana White and Joe Rogan were stunned after seeing Dakota Ditcheva's knockout performance. They even described her as a serious threat to Valentina Shevchenko. Dakota is young and rising fast, while Valentina's career is nearing its end, which is why they believe Dakota could defeat her quite easily.
So I'll put it back on you, Dakota. Who do you think is the #1 flyweight in the women's division right now?
Valentina Shevchenko.
Ditcheva's unbeaten run, combined with her aggressive striking and fearless approach, has quickly turned heads across the MMA world. But now, with White himself acknowledging her potential danger, the conversation shifts to something bigger. Could Shevchenko's dominance actually be at risk? This isn't just hype anymore. It's a warning shot.
But yeah, she got a bye in the second round, which I would have liked to see her fight then. But it is what it is, you know. I'm prepared. I've trained hard, and
I'm just going to go in and do what I always do. You know, I never fixate too much on what my opponent's doing. You know, they can change each fight. Like me in my fight, first round was completely different to my third, so you never know what's going to happen.
Let's get into it. Before we get to Dana and Valentina, let's make sure you understand exactly why everyone is panicking. Dakota Ditcheva, Manchester, England, half Bulgarian, half English. I am 26 years old, and she is 10-0 with a 90% finish rate.
Inside of 2 minutes now in round number 1. Co-main event, Dakota Ditcheva and Chelsea Hackett. Ditcheva makes the playoffs for the win of any kind. Oh, nasty combination. And the body work, and that'll do it.
This is not a padded record. This is not a hand-picked opponent list. This girl has been walking through everyone put in front of her, and doing it violently. Her striking pedigree, inherited directly from her mother, Lisa Howarth, a world champion kickboxer in the 80s and 90s. So Dakota didn't just learn how to fight. She was born into it. And in November 2024, she did something that made the entire MMA community take notice. She dismantled Taylor Santos, a former UFC title challenger, who gave Valentina Shevchenko one of her absolute toughest nights. Ditcheva didn't just beat Santos. She dominated her, finished her, made it look easy. That performance alone set off alarm bells at UFC headquarters. And those alarm bells, they went straight to Dana White's desk. Now here's where it gets serious. Multiple sources have confirmed that the UFC, the biggest MMA organization on the planet, actually attempted to trade for Dakota Ditcheva. And the PFL, they shut it down immediately. Didn't even entertain the conversation. Think about what that means. The UFC was willing to give up one of their own fighters just to get their hands on Ditcheva. That doesn't happen unless they genuinely see her as a threat to their entire women's flyweight division.
The planet right now, fantastic strikers, veterans. Future legends of the game here.
For sure.
Santos
is in big trouble. She's in big trouble. Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for a championship.
And Dana White, who famously said, and got absolutely hammered for it, that women would never fight in the UFC before being proven spectacularly wrong by Ronda Rousey. Dana White has now publicly stated about Ditcheva, "She proved me absolutely wrong. She is fired. That girl is good. She's mean. She's nasty. She goes after people. She doesn't get decisions. She's knocking people out. She is making them quit. She is the breakout fighter." And then came the bombshell line that every women's flyweight champion needed to hear. Right now, I'm not too sure that Shevchenko is the best 125 there is.
Was coddling this person, they were hiding her, all this stuff. Dakota Ditcheva, man, she proved me absolutely wrong. She's fire. That girl she is good. She's mean. She's nasty. She goes after people. She doesn't get decisions. She's knocking people out. She is making them quit. She is the breakout fighter.
I famously got hammered like 10 years ago saying women would never fight in the UFC. And then I met Ronda Rousey.
Right now, I'm not too sure that Shevchenko is the best 125er there is. Hey, man, she goes after people.
Read that again. Dana White, the man who built Valentina Shevchenko's legacy, who promoted every single one of her title defenses, is now publicly questioning whether she's even the best flyweight on the planet. That is not just a compliment to Ditcheva. That is a direct, deliberate message to Valentina. And the whole MMA world heard it. Now, Valentina Shevchenko is not someone who stays quiet when her legacy gets challenged. And she didn't. Taking to Twitter, the Bullet responded with exactly the kind of calm, cold confidence that has made her one of the most feared fighters in UFC history. Valentina posted, "Records and hype are built outside the octagon. Legacies are built inside it. When Dakota is ready to step into MY World, I'll be waiting. Until then, the belt stays home. Cold. Calculated. Vintage Valentina."
And everyone is saying, "Oh, you're the greatest. Oh, you're the best." And it's kind of like you take it. Even you don't want to listen it. It's like your brain, it take it. And now it's kind of like back into the root.
But here's the thing, and this is what makes this story so fascinating. Valentina actually named Ditcheva as her favorite athlete before any of this drama started. Dakota herself has said Valentina is the fighter she most aspires to be like. She called her her dream opponent. So what we have here is not just a rivalry. This is a passing of the torch moment in slow motion, a student hunting her idol, a champion being forced to defend not just her belt but her entire reputation. And Dana White just poured gasoline on the whole thing. Let's break down why this potential fight is so dangerous for Valentina specifically. Valentina Shevchenko is 37 years old. She is still elite, still technical, still arguably the greatest women's pound-for-pound fighter of all time. But time is not on her side. Dakota Ditcheva is 26. She is in her absolute prime, getting sharper with every single fight, and analysts who have broken down this potential matchup are already raising eyebrows. Here's the brutal reality for Valentina. Ditcheva is more aggressive, potentially more explosive, and has the same killer instinct that Valentina built her entire career on. She doesn't just win fights, she ends them, and she ends them fast. The fact that she finished Taylor Santos, who gave Valentina one of her toughest championship fights ever, tells us everything about the stylistic nightmare Ditcheva could bring. And then there's Conor McGregor, who met Ditcheva at a BKFC event in Dubai and said publicly, "Ditcheva, a superstar. You're the next big thing, baby." When McGregor, a man who knows star power better than almost anyone alive, gives you that endorsement, the current champions aren't sleeping well. But here's the twist that makes this whole story even more complicated. Ditcheva is locked in the PFL, and the PFL is not letting her go. They already tried to block the UFC trade. They know exactly what they have. She won their $1 million tournament. She is their biggest star, their golden ticket. And every single month that she stays in the PFL, dominating, finishing, building her brand, is another month where UFC fighters have to answer uncomfortable questions. When are you going to face Ditcheva? Are you ready for Ditcheva? Could you handle Ditcheva? The UFC's nightmare scenario is simple. What if Dakota Ditcheva becomes so massive, so globally famous, so undeniably the best women's flyweight on the planet, all while sitting outside the UFC? That would be the single biggest threat to their dominance in the women's division since Ronda Rousey walked through the door. Dakota herself has said it plainly, "I'm going to be the face of female MMA. That's one of my goals." And right now, nobody is betting against her. So let's bring it all together. Dana White has publicly questioned whether Valentina Shevchenko is even the best flyweight in the world. Valentina has fired back on Twitter with a cold, direct challenge. Conor McGregor has personally endorsed Dakota Ditcheva as the next big thing, and the UFC tried and failed to trade for her. This is no longer just hype. This is a full-blown heavyweight storyline playing out across two different promotions. And the longer the PFL holds on to Ditcheva, the louder this conversation gets. The question isn't if Dakota Ditcheva reaches the top of women's MMA. The question is when, and which promotion gets to be home when she does it. One thing is certain, dangerous is coming, and the whole world is watching. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we cover the biggest stories in combat sports every week. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Can Valentina Shevchenko beat Dakota Ditcheva? I want to hear from you.
Hi. Hi, I'm Kayla. You're Dakota? Yeah, welcome. You're new here. Oh, you're the British girl that Richie was telling me about. Okay. Yeah. He's trying to make me jealous. Oh, what's up? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Welcome. Welcome to ATT and PFL. Yeah. So you're going to be fighting in August? Yeah. August? Oh, nice. That's badass. You're making your debut? Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. You're staying here for the whole camp, or?
Yeah, I've just decided to say I was going to go home on Thursday, but decided to do the full camp here and then go home.
Nice.
Plum and a right hand. Oh, one big one. Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hand of fake. Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva.
Kayla Harrison and Juliana Miller just dropped a huge message to the UFC, and it's about a rising star who's already turning heads. Dakota Ditcheva is being called the future of MMA and a scary striker. Kayla Harrison said, "She's a killer. She's a killer. She's the future of MMA. She's young, she's hungry, she's disciplined, she's motivated. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's got a great team around her. The sky is the limit for her."
Oh, she's a killer. She's a killer. She's the future of MMA, and I think that she's only getting better. She's young, she's hungry, she's disciplined, she's motivated. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's got a great team around her. I think that the sky's the limit for her.
That is Kayla Harrison, two-time Olympic gold medalist, multiple PFL champion, current UFC bantamweight champion. And that is exactly how she describes Dakota Ditcheva. But Harrison wasn't alone. Juliana Miller, a seasoned veteran of this sport who does not throw around compliments lightly. Two elite fighters 2 separate warnings, 1 identical message, and that message is aimed directly at the UFC flyweight division. Not in the UFC yet, but look at Dakota Ditcheva. She is a scary striker. She is an amazing athlete. Her mom was a Muay Thai world champion. She came up in this sport and has been doing it her whole entire life.
Not in the UFC yet, but look at Dakota Ditcheva. She is a scary striker, and she's an amazing athlete, right? But her mom was Muay Thai world champion, so she came up in this sport and has been doing it her whole entire life.
Let's start with Kayla Harrison, because the weight of who is speaking here cannot be overstated. This is not a broadcaster. This is not a promoter. This is not someone trying to sell a fight card. Kayla Harrison is arguably the most decorated athlete to ever transition into professional MMA. 2 Olympic gold medals, multiple PFL championships, and now UFC gold at bantamweight after moving up from flyweight. She has been at the absolute top of this sport for years, and she knows elite talent because she is elite talent. And when asked about Dakota Ditcheva, she didn't think twice. She didn't soften the words. She delivered a verdict. She's a killer. She's the future of MMA. She's only getting better. Young, hungry, disciplined, motivated. The sky is the limit.
What's up, everybody? It's Kayla Harrison, and I am here on a beautiful cruise in the middle of Puerto Rico, sending all the love and good luck to Dakota Ditcheva.
Now here is what makes those words hit even harder. Harrison didn't just watch Ditcheva on a highlight reel. She trained alongside her at American Top Team. She has been in the same gym, felt the same energy, and seen this woman work up close day after day. This is a first-hand scouting report, not a media quote, not promotional talk, a direct assessment from one of the greatest women's MMA fighters on the planet. When Kayla Harrison watches Dakota Ditcheva and sees the future of this sport, that is not something you dismiss. And then Juliana Miller stepped forward and made the message even louder. Miller is a veteran who has been around elite competition long enough to know the difference between a good prospect and a genuine problem. She does not waste words. She does not manufacture hype. And when she was asked about Dakota Ditcheva, she was direct, she was specific, and she was serious. She said Dakota Ditcheva is a scary striker, an amazing athlete, and then she gave the detail that explains everything. Her mother was a Muay Thai world champion. Dakota came up in this sport. She has been doing it her whole entire life.
Oh, you're gonna kick me? Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're. What? Oh. Why is my arm hurt? Why does my arm hurt?
That one detail changes how you see everything about Ditcheva's game. She was not a late bloomer who found MMA in her 20s. She was not an athlete who crossed over from another sport hoping the striking would come. She was raised in martial arts. She grew up watching her mother compete at the highest level of Muay Thai on the world stage. She absorbed the technique, the discipline, the competitive mindset from childhood. By the time she stepped into a professional MMA cage, she had already been in this sport longer than most of her opponents had been competing at all.
I will tell you, the confidence that she's going to have now getting up is going to be unbelievable. There it is.
Beautiful knee from the plum.
And Ditcheva beckons Jenna Bishop back to her feet and goes immediately on the attack.
Bishop in trouble.
And that does it. First round finish, and Dakota Ditcheva silences the doubters.
That is why her striking looks different. That is why her combinations are combinations that flyweight fighters have genuinely never encountered. That is why Juliana Miller, a woman who has been in there with serious competition, used the word scary.
She gets my neck.
When a veteran fighter calls someone scary, fight fans, it means something. Now let's look at the evidence. Because Harrison and Miller's words are not built on potential. They are built on proof. Dakota Ditcheva stands at 15 wins and 0 losses. But it is not the record alone that matters. It is how she has built it. she has finished 14 out of 15 opponents. That is a 93% finish rate that most UFC champions cannot match.